Viewers, you're watching the Morning Express. I'm Shivangi, Shukla, and we're getting your top stories on India's #1 news channel, Republic TV. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken addressed a high-level meeting of the UN Security Council on Friday, the first anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Here's more on that.
On the one-year anniversary of Russia-Ukraine war, United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken addressed the horrors of the devastating war.
Over the last year, Russia has killed tens of thousands of Ukrainian men, women, and children, uprooted more than 13 million people from their homes, destroyed more than half of the country's energy grid, bombed more than 700 hospitals, 2,600 schools, and abducted at least 6,000 Ukrainian children, some as young as 4 months old, and relocated them to Russia. And yet, the spirit of the Ukrainians remains unbroken.
Thousands of civilians and soldiers have lost their lives in this endless war. A year on, and the Russian aggression has only become more intense. Blinken tallied the atrocities committed by Russian troops and mercenaries in the last 12 months.
When Ukraine launched a counteroffensive that retook large swaths of its territory, President Putin conscripted an additional 300,000 men, throwing more and more of Russia's young people into a meat grinder of his own making. And he unleashed the Wagner Group, mercenaries who have committed atrocities from Africa to the Middle East and now in Ukraine.
He spoke on the importance of condemning Russia's violation.
The vast majority of member states have voted multiple times to condemn Russia's violations of the UN Charter and reject its illegal attempt to seize Ukrainian territory. Yesterday, 141 countries voted in the General Assembly for a resolution that reaffirms the core principles of sovereignty and territorial integrity, denounces Russia's atrocities, expresses support for a just and comprehensive peace in accordance.
He took a firm stance to support Ukraine.
No country has endured greater hardship from Russia's war than Ukraine. But almost every country has felt the pain. And yet, nations around the world continue to stand with Ukraine. Because we all recognize that if we abandon Ukraine, we abandon the UN Charter itself and the principles and rules that make all countries safer.
He also emphasized that a true peace will only happen when Russia is unable to replenish its forces for attack.
Council members should not be fooled by calls for a temporary or unconditional ceasefire. Russia will use any pause in fighting to consolidate control over the territory it's illegally seized and replenish its forces for further attacks. That's what happened when Russia's first assault on Ukraine froze in 2015. Look at what followed.
Blinken's comments come on the same day the Pentagon announced a $2 billion new package of long-term security assistance for Ukraine. The announcement comes just days after President Joe Biden made an unannounced visit to Kyiv and pledged America's continuing commitment to Ukraine. Agency report, Republic TV.